بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We studied some of the sub-rules of the third major fiqh rule, that is al-mashaqqatu tajlibu at-taysir, hardships warrant concessions. So we took a number of rules, and the fourth rule or the sub-rule is al-ittirar la yubtilu haqq al-ghayr. Al-ittirar la yubtilu haqq al-ghayr, which means that necessity does not void the rights of others. And we've spoke about this earlier and said that if you have a necessity to slaughter a sheep that is not yours or otherwise you will die, then you can do that. But this doesn't mean that the money is gone. You have to pay the owner the money. And likewise, the issue of the camel. If a camel attacks you, or if you're hungry and you slaughter the camel, it's a different situation. If you are attacked by a camel, a wild camel, and there is no way to defend yourself but to kill it, and you kill it, the owner comes and says, give me the money of the camel. Do you give him? No, because you are protecting yourself from the harm initiated by the camel. But if it's the other way around, if you're hungry and there is no halal food except this camel, you slaughter it, you eat it, when the owner comes, you must pay the money of that. Likewise, if a person is in a ship and the ship is about to drown, and they all agree that we have to throw things in water so that the ship would become lighter and we would not drown. So they take cargo and they take suits and they take things and they throw it. And after they are safe, alhamdulillah, and reach shore, the people come and say, give us our money. I lost a DVD. Someone says, I lost a camera. Someone says, I lost my luggage, my money. The people that threw these things in the water, do they have the right to say, we were going to drown, so we had to do this? No. They saved themselves by violating someone else's rights. So they have to pay. This is different if, for example, you were on a ship and all of a sudden some of the cargo or a big bag or a box fell on you and you had no way to escape that or to save yourself except to throw it in water because it fell on you, so you had to do this and it fell in the water. Can the man, the owner of the bag, says, oh, Akhi, my suitcase fell from the window and you put it in the water? No, I threw it because I was saving myself. So he cannot ask you for compensation because you did not do this for your own benefit. You are simply protecting yourself from the harm that came to you from that thing. Rule number 5. ما جاز لعذر بطل بزواله. Whatever is permissible for a necessity, this thing becomes back to being unlawful when the reason is gone. I think this is very easily understood. You're stranded in the desert and the same dead donkey is with you, missing a leg now because you already consumed that. So when after being stranded for a whole week and you already consumed the leg of that donkey, someone comes to you with food, halal food. Oh, Jazakallah khair, but I have to finish the other leg. I said, no. Now the necessity is gone because you have halal food. And this means that you have no excuse. Likewise, they give a lot of examples. If someone did not find water to make wudu, make ablution for prayer, so he made tayammum, and as he was going to begin the prayer, rain fell. So can he pray? No, because whatever the water is there, the excuse The necessity is gone. So the unlawful is changed, is turned over. You cannot pray with your tayammum. You have to pray by washing up. Likewise, excuses that we have, a lot of them. One of them is traveling. So if you're traveling away from your city, you pray 4 rak'ahs. Into 2, you shorten. What happens if you came back? I'm flying. It is Maghrib time. I prayed on the airplane 3 rak'ah. It is Isha time. I did not pray. And I reached my destination, my hometown. I'm in the airport. Can I pray 2 rak'ahs now? The adhan was called while I was traveling. If I prayed on the airplane, could I pray 2 rak'ahs? Yes, but now I reached. So can I pray 4 rak'ah or 2 rak'ah? No, you have to pray because the excuse is gone. The reason that the unlawful thing became permissible is gone, so it goes back to its original form. Likewise, what's the ruling on a woman who's a widow staying in her home for 4 months and 10 days? What's the ruling on that? It's a must. It's an obligation. Can she go out of her home at all? This means that if she falls sick, we cannot take her to the hospital? No, this is a necessity. When we have a necessity, unlawful things, which is going out, becomes lawful. Likewise, if she's a working woman, she's a teacher in a school. So she went to the school and said, my husband died and I have to take leave for 4 months and 10 days. And they say, no, it is not permissible for you to do that. Either you come and work or we will kick you out. In this case, it's a necessity. So in this case, it is permissible for her to go and attend work and come back. But this reason or necessity is not found in the weekends. So she has Saturday and Sunday. Where are you going? I'm going shopping. No, this is not permissible for you. You are permitted to leave because of your necessity. Other than that, it is unlawful. Or she can go for 3 months and 10 days. And the 4th month, she is entitled to get 1 month vacation from her annual vacation. In this case, it is a must for her to take this month and stay home. So the necessity is not an open thing that allows you to do everything openly. It is limited by a number of conditions. Number 6, and this is a little long, الواجبات تسقط مع عدم القدرة. And this translates to obligatory is not required when there is no ability. I am required to pray standing up, correct? If I'm sick and I'm unable, if I'm paralyzed, how can I stand? Then there is a disability, khalas, you're not required. This obligatory stuff is not mandatory upon you. And the ability is different, whether it's physical, it's financial, and the ability itself, there is a number of rules that you can get out of that. And the most famous rule is that there is no obligation when unable, and there is no prohibition when needed, when it's a necessity. It's all the same thing, hardship, warrant, concessions. So among the physical obligations, if you are unable to do them, you're exempted. In wudu, do we have to wash both arms? Right? If someone's arm is amputated, so he washes the first one, the right, and the left. What to do? Yeah, he's not there. You're unable, so this is void, and you don't have to do it because you're unable to do that. If someone wants to pray, you have to pray standing up. If I can't, then this obligation is void and you pray as you can. And this is why when you cascade this, you will find it needed in situations that are confusing. What's the ruling on praying behind the row in Jama'ah alone? I come to the masjid and there are rows and I decide to stand alone, nobody on my right or left, I can breathe. I don't have to smell people who did not wash or put deodorants or. So I pray alone. What's the ruling on that? The prayer is invalid. The Prophet said, there is no prayer valid for an individual praying behind the row. Hadith is authentic. But what is the ruling if I come and I look at the row and it's completely packed? Sometimes you come to the side and you pat people on the shoulder and you get 4 or 5 of them to squeeze themselves, and you can find a place for 1 or even 2. But some masjids, wow, not even a place for a needle. They're all tight, mashallah, they love each other, they have this love. So you try to squeeze yourself, no way, forget it. You cannot come. In this case, we apply this rule that obligations in cases of disability, they fall and you're exempted. So in this case, can I pray alone? The answer is yes. Because Allah says, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. And when it comes to financial obligations, likewise, a lot of the time, so many enthusiastic Muslims come to me and, Sheikh, I cannot pay zakah. I said, why? He said, I don't have any savings. I said, okay. He said, I want to pay zakah. Pay zakah on what? You don't have money. Those who do not have money, then there is no obligation upon them. So financial obligations, we have few words to continue, inshallah, elaborating on it. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah, we'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. So, if you are unable, obligations are not anymore obliged upon you. And this is part of hardships, warrant concessions. This is al-mashaqqa tajlibu at-taysir. And one of the greatest hardship is when you're unable to do something and yet you're still obliged to do it. Someone who is unable to speak, who's mute. And we say, no, you have to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, or I will not accept your Islam. He cannot speak. How are you treating people? You have to think. Don't be so strict, because everyone can be strict. Everyone can say haram. And that is why the scholars say that it is not part of knowledge to say haram, 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 everything is haram. The part that displays your true knowledge is when you can make things easy within the boundaries of the Quran and Sunnah. This is the true knowledge. So when you apply these rules, you find the ease of the Sharia, alhamdulillah, everywhere. So someone who does not have money is not obliged to give zakah. Someone who does not find a ticket to go for Hajj. A lot of the Muslims don't have money to go for Hajj. Nowadays it's too expensive due to the ticket, due to the fees they're being charged, and due to their stay. So what to do? Alhamdulillah, Allah Azza wa Jal, whenever there's hardship, there is ease. So when you don't have financial ability, Allah Azza wa Jal exempts you, tells you, you don't have to make Hajj. But people insist and go beg. They go and beg their relatives, the rich. And you find that sometimes there are things that Allah Azza wa Jal substitute us with in order to ease the hardship. So if someone cannot perform wudu because of an injury, he has burns on his body, he's unable to make wudu. So do we say, don't pray? No, there is a hardship. And this hardship attains and brings ease. We tell him, offer tayammum. If he cannot offer tayammum, then he can pray in any situation he is in. And with this, alhamdulillah, we conclude the third major fiqhi rule. So if you have any questions, we open the floor.
Sheikh, as you mentioned about the Hajj, that people go as an obligation, but there are some people who desire, who have the passion of doing Hajj, but they don't have the money. So if they pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, make me means, though I can't afford. So if someone next day he comes and says, brother, I will sponsor your Hajj, or I'll sponsor your trip to Umrah. So is it permissible for him to go as an obligation and fulfill the obligation? Or is he just going on the money of someone else and the whole reward will go to the other person?
Okay. If a person gives you money without your asking, volunteering to give you money, a gift, any kind of sponsoring you to go for Hajj or for Umrah, you can take that without any problem, and it's part of your obligation. It's a misconception for people to say or to think that no, you cannot make Hajj unless you worked for that money. No, this is a misconception. There's nothing in the Sharia, Quran or Sunnah that says this. If someone invites you, if the king invites you to make Hajj, or the government here tells you that we have chosen you to go for Hajj, or a rich neighbor had a dying son and all of a sudden he felt better, alhamdulillah, and he was happy, and you were the first one to see, so it told you, go for Hajj. All of this is permissible and it does the job, inshallah.
Sheikh, for example, if a person is stranded in a place and if he fears that if he prays standing, he will have a bigger harm that he will be stopped from praying. So is this a necessity that in this case he prays sitting or with ishara?
Very good. A very good question that we can easily apply these fiqhi rules. The rule says necessities permit the unlawful. To sit down is unlawful when you're able. But in necessities, you can. It makes this unlawful lawful. However, you have to evaluate the necessities accordingly. So let us see, is my fear true or it's imagined? Why? So many times, a lot of the Muslims don't pray standing up. Why? I'm afraid they might attack me. Attack you? You are in Europe, you're in America, Muslims are everywhere. So pray. So I'm afraid. No, this fear is not realistic. This is not evaluated accordingly. Some of the brothers, when they go back to their countries, in some Arab countries, unfortunately, they shave their beard. Why? Oh, the authorities there, we're afraid that they will abduct us in the airport and interrogate us and put us in jail. Akhi, there are 90 million Muslims in your country, and 40% of them are all bearded, and the rest are all hijabi women. Yeah, but I'm afraid. This fear is realistic or not? No, it's not realistic. So you're not allowed to do this. Now, in another case, if yes, Sheikh, on board American airplanes, I know 10 people who were arrested and were interrogated just because they stood up and prayed on the airplane. Says, oh, then this is too hostile. And you know that this would happen. Are you sure? Yes, it's on the news everywhere. This is probable because this happened. In this case, I'll tell you, okay. In a case of a country that is made of tyrants and people who do not fear Allah, and not one case, hundreds of cases of people working there or enlisting forcefully in the army, they shave their beards or they punish them and they torture them and they may kill them. This is a fact. In this case, it becomes permissible due to the necessity. So you have to evaluate, because so many times we are making hurdles and putting obstacles. Sisters say, I'm commuting with my husband and Maghrib time is due, but we will not reach except at Isha. And there is no place to stop. I said, where are you? What do you mean there is no, a 2-hour drive and no place to stop? No gas stations, no pavement, no park, any detour? No, this is not acceptable. This is something you're making up because you can stand, say, Sheikh, no proper place. Do I pray as a woman in the street? Yes. Do women pray in the street? Yes. What is she doing? She's praying. And what is she going to pray? Yani Taraweeh? It's going to only go to 4 or 5 minutes. But no, she wants to pray in the car and not to the direction of the Qibla, sitting down. No, this is not permissible. So you have to evaluate the necessities. Last question.
Sheikh, as you're talking about the necessities, and you said that a woman wherein she's in the period of iddah, so she's allowed to, if there's some job and she's forced, like she cannot get a leave for 4 months, so she can go for the job. So similarly, in the same case, if you're living in a European country and they have all un-Islamic banks like which deal in riba, and if you want to take a loan, So are we permitted to take a loan in this necessity? So where do we actually draw the line of necessity? Is it only in life and death situations, or in just like if we are forced to do something? So are we allowed to take that loan?
See, again, this is relevant to evaluating the necessity accordingly. There is no way permissible for you to get a loan from an interest-based bank. It's haram. Even if it is for something that is probable. Meaning, I have cancer. And doctors say, we have to operate on you or you will die. I go to you, Farik Bhai, give me a loan. He said, I don't have money. I go to Faisal, I go to Saad, everybody's saying no money. The only alternative is the riba-based bank. And they say, yes, come to me, come to Papa. I will give you whatever you want, but with interest. So I say, I have to, it's a necessity. Is it a necessity or not? Some say yes, some say no, it is not a necessity. Because even if I take the loan and I go to the doctor and they perform the surgery, is it 100% sure that I will be cured? Cure is in Allah's hands. So Allah did not make our cure in something that is haram. This is what the Prophet said, as-salam. Seek medicine, but do not seek something that is haram, because Allah did not make your cure in something that is haram. That's why we cannot drink wine to make the stones in our kidneys go, as people say. Or we cannot make things in medicine that is haram, like frogs. What's the ruling on killing frogs? Haram. Eating meat of the frog, it's haram. The Prophet was asked, Prophet, we make it in medication. He said, no, this is prohibited. So when Allah prohibits something, it makes it haram to eat, to consume, to sell, etc. So that is why riba is not permissible. How to evaluate? This is the role of scholars who look into situations and they can tell you, yes, the pros and cons, which we will come to discuss later on, insha'Allah. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mm-hmm.